You know, I'll loop back around. It's what I do now. How I got there is I grew up in Brevard. Grew up with Gordon, a few years older than Gordon, but not too many. And, you know, Brevard was a great place then. I didn't necessarily appreciate it for what it was. And I think that's true for most people. Where you grow up, where you live, you can't wait to go somewhere else and see the world and get away from this podunk little town, and literally sidewalks rolled up at 8 o'clock at night and nothing was going on. That was Brevard back during our youth. And so I had always had a musical bug in me. My mother was a musician and an artist, and of course at 6 years old forced me to take piano lessons, which I very quickly rebelled against and shunned and thought was a complete waste of time. The other side of that was my father was athletic and played sports all his life, and I too was athletic and was sort of sucked into that world. You know, back in the day, Brevard high school athletics it was kind of the thing to do. I mean, there wasn't much else going on back in the 70s and 80s in Transylvania County, so Friday night football was really it. So my father was a self-made person. He worked for himself. The reason I'm telling you all this, it kind of sets up into how I discovered what it was that I felt like I should be doing. Started his own business here called Pest Control. And during the summers from high school and when I was away at college, I would work for him. And so it's a classic story, right? Son graduates from high school, goes to college, works for dad, graduates from college, works for dad, dad retires, son takes over dad's business. Life's good, right? That wasn't for me. Music came back into the picture during the last 2 years of my college career, and I had another local gentleman here who I grew up with named Matt Mays. Great songwriter, banjo player, guitar player, who I was experimenting with music during our youth. And at the time, his father owned Camp Deerwood for boys out here. And we would put together a little pickup group, and we'd go play for the camp kids during their campfires on Sundays. Out of that, we met one of the counselors who was a drummer, lived in Georgia, and said, hey, you know, we're all getting out of college next year. Let's put a band together. We can move to Georgia. My mom's got a little dairy barn, and said we can live in for free if we're willing to fix it up. Free being the key word. We can tour kind of the southeastern college circuit and have fun for a year. So sounds great. Let's do it. I wasn't ready to go back to work. I certainly wasn't ready to come back to Brevard at the time. So we moved to Macon, Georgia. This was in 1987. And so immediately, Matt and I started writing our own songs and incorporating them into our shows. And the response we got was, it was overwhelming. People responding to the stuff that we had created. And more and more, that getting closer to that year, I knew I was going to have to make a decision. And so year's time came up, called my dad and said, Dad, I'm not coming back. And it was silence on the phone. It seemed like for 15 minutes. It was probably 15 seconds, but it seemed like 15. So he said, well, as long as it doesn't cost me anything, I don't care what you do. So I took that as his blessing. To then do this thing. Because I did not want to look back 10 years from then and go, God, I wish I'd have done that when I had the chance. I had my youth. I had nothing holding me back from pursuing this thing. And it was at that point that I realized I would probably never ever work for anyone except for myself. It was a great learning experience. So from that, I'll fast forward.